Andres de Doble A Sports. Welcome to the channel and another video covering Mexican football and the Mexico women's national team. The Mexico women's national team has announced their roster for their upcoming games versus the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, their final World Cup qualifying games of this first round. And in this video, I will be giving a full analysis of Mexico's roster for this month and these two games, as there are notable players included in the roster and notable players that have been left off the roster for these games. Before I get into the analysis of the roster, as always, if you enjoy my content covering Mexican football and Mexico's national teams, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel and help it grow. It will also keep you informed on my videos covering the latest news on Mexican football. So leave a like and subscribe, and let's get the channel to 300 subscribers. Beginning the roster analysis with the goalkeepers, the three goalkeepers called up are Estefany Barreras, Blanca Felix, and Cecilia Santiago, who was part of Mexico's 2011 and 2015 World Cup teams, and in 2011 became the youngest ever goalkeeper to play in a World Cup game at 16 years old. Santiago returned to the roster for the first time in over 2 years and will bring experience and leadership in the roster as the third goalkeeper. With that, the two notable goalkeepers not included in the roster this month for Mexico are Itzel Velasco and Celeste Espino. Itzel Velasco has been ruled out for these games due to injury, which is why she is not in the roster. You hate to see injuries, very unfortunate, and hopefully she has a quick and full recovery, and we see her return with the national team soon. As for Celeste Espino, she was not called up for the main team this month, as she has been called up and included in the roster for the U23 team's games. And this suggests two things. First, that Pedro Lopez, while still seeing her and Velasco as prospects for the main team, Lopez doesn't think she is 100% ready to be called up consistently to the senior team yet, and would prefer she gets playing time and sharpens her skills at the U23 level right now. I think this is an okay decision. There's nothing bad about this, as it would be better for Espino to get playing time and continue developing than to be called up to the main team but not play, especially given Barreras is clearly the main goalkeeper for the senior team right now. This also suggests that for these final two games in this first round of World Cup qualifiers, Pedro Lopez wants the goalkeepers with the most experience on the roster. And if you're not going to have a young prospect on the roster as the third goalkeeper to develop with the main team for this month, it is best to call up the next best and experienced goalkeeper. And Cecilia Santiago is that goalkeeper. She is 31 years old now. She is the starter for Tigres and is currently in solid form with 3 clean sheets in the last 5 games. So overall, I think the goalkeeper part of the roster is still very solid with Barreras, Felix, and Santiago. I imagine that Barreras will be the starting goalkeeper for both of these games, but should anything happen, the team has 2 other goalkeepers along with Barreras on the roster that add depth to the goalkeeper position. Moving on to the defenders, Kimberly Rodriguez, Caro Bernal, Alia Farmer, Ivan Gutierrez, Kenty Robles, Reina Reyes, and Greta Espinosa are the 7 defenders Pedro Lopez has called up. The notable defender not in the roster for these games is Nikki Hernandez. She has been ruled out for these games due to a thigh injury. With that, Caro Bernal has been called up and will take her place in the roster for these games. I think calling up Bernal in this scenario was the correct decision. Outside of that, the defensive part of the roster and the defenders called up remain the same, and I think this is 100% the correct decision, given the defense has been excellent for Mexico, not conceding a single goal in any of their last 9 games. With that, don't change or experiment with something that is very good right now and doesn't need to be changed. Moving on to the midfielders called up, Carla Nieto, Alexia Delgado, Fatima Servin, Rebecca Bernal, Ali Soto, and Stefani Mayor are the midfielders called up for these games. The one player left off the roster here is Diana Garcia, and I agree with this decision to not call her up this time. She was called up for the games versus St. Lucia and Brazil, but did not play in either game. For these final games, it looks like Pedro Lopez is only calling up the most experienced players that he has worked with the most. And Diana Garcia, based on her not getting any playing time in March, does not appear to be a player that fits in his system and style of play. With Diana Garcia not being called up, Stephanie Mayor returns to the roster. She last played for Mexico in the game versus St. Vincent, where she had 2 assists. While she has been called up again, she is an aging player on the roster. She is one of the older players on the roster. With that in mind, while it is likely she will get playing time in these games, I imagine that she will probably not start and likely be a substitute player. Nevertheless, I still think she is a better option and player to call up than Garcia, given she has more experience, she is good in possession, and her last game for Mexico proved that. Outside of Garcia's exclusion and Mayor being called up, the rest of the midfield part of the roster remains the same. Rebecca Bernal, Carla Nieto, Ali Soto, the best prospect on the team, very good. And again, given the team as a whole has been in great form, Pedro Lopez is not going to change anything that doesn't need to be changed. And the third and final part of the roster, the offensive front, Pedro Lopez has called up 7 players for this part of the roster. They are Scarlett Camberos, Kiana Palacios, Yasmin Cázares, Lisbeth Ovalle, of course, Maria Sanchez, and Charlene Corral, who has been in excellent form with Pachuca and the national team. The same can be said for the final player included in the roster, Diana Ordóñez, who has been great with Tigres and ever since June of 2025 has been in great form with the national team, scoring in just about every other game for Mexico. The one notable player that was not included is Montse Saldivar, and unfortunately, this is due to injury. On March 18th, Club America confirmed that Montserrat Saldivar suffered a brutal left thigh injury in their game versus León. And according to reports, she will likely be out until the end of April or midway through May. It's very unfortunate that she won't be able to play in these games, and you hate to see an injury happen to a player like Montse Saldivar, who is arguably the team's next best prospect after Ali Soto. I wish her a quick and full recovery, and hopefully we see her back on the field for Mexico and Club America soon. Outside of Saldivar being left off the roster due to injury, Pedro Lopez has not made a single change to the roster in the offensive front, and I think he absolutely made the correct decision in not making any changes to the offensive front. Corral, Ovalle, Ordóñez, Palacios, who at the club level just made the big jump to the NWSL in the United States. This is the best offensive front Mexico has right now. And with the offensive front playing great and scoring a combined total of 26 goals in Mexico's last 4 games, yeah, leave the offense as it is right now and let them continue their great form. There you have it, the roster for the Mexico women's national team for their games this month in April, and for my overall grade for this roster that Pedro Lopez has established for these games, A+. Lopez once again called up all of the best players available, as he should in these qualifying games, and he made the correct decisions in not making any major changes, given the team has been playing well. The first game will be on Friday, April 10th versus the U.S. Virgin Islands in Zacatecas, where the team will look to pick up another 3 points in Group A in this first round of qualifiers, and put on a great performance in front of a home crowd in Estadio Carlos Vega Villalba. Andres de AA Sports, leave your opinions and put your score predictions for the Mexico women's national team's games this month in the comments below. That will be all for this video. If you enjoy my videos on Mexico's national teams, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel and help it grow. Thanks for watching and listening. Viva Mexico!